Bulma rage is coming. This same thought was sparked in all of our minds as Vegeta waited for the attack to push him off the stage, and that critical reflection was created. Ever since his new form had come, this was the moment we have been waiting for. After all, don't you think it had felt strange? Vegeta was coming to terms that he would need Goku's help to defeat Jiren, but that still just wouldn't be enough. So he looks into his inner being for the greater power that he knew had to be in there somewhere. We knew the ultimate motivation for him would be the family that he loved, and as the unique blue aura started to seep out, that motivation was revealed. Kaba. Not exactly what we were expecting. It didn't feel right, and it made the power-up just feel pointless. But now that he channeled his Bulma love, we knew it was over. Finally, after 3/4 of the episode was over. That got your adrenaline pumping, right? Toppo picked Frieza up by the head and threw him off the stage. Thankfully, Android 17 threw a rock to, wait, haven't we seen this before? Once the title pops up in a Dragon Ball Super episode, they usually get right to business. This week, they decided to fill in with some stuff from last week. Not that big a deal, but it made the episode feel as if it was never gonna get going, instantly setting this one to not be as great as it could. But no worries, Frieza came to save the day. He was suddenly striking away Toppo's dangerous attack before it could reach Android 17. This was the same as just a moment ago, when Toppo's destruction suddenly disappeared right in front of him. He looked up to see Frieza standing on a rock above him. With his golden form gone, it was clear to Toppo that his last attack had left Frieza with barely any power, and seeing him dangling off the side of the stage, there was no way he would be a problem again anytime soon. Frieza had quite a surprise hiding up his sleeve for Toppo, and for us. Last week, the Anifam called it that Frieza was putting on an act. Although I truly did believe he had gotten hurt a little bit and would be out for some time, he proved that this was 100% faking. Not only was he totally fine, but he also had more power than he should have had after getting caught in that energy of destruction. Frieza was able to paralyze Toppo, which honestly was very impressive, but as expected of a man with the power of a god of destruction, this ended up not really doing anything. However, there was something suspicious about this. Nothing had been holding Toppo back since the moment he awakened his god powers, yet here we finally saw him frozen. This instantly made me think about the Anifam, who in the comments of the Frieza videos last week were wondering if Frieza's psychic abilities would be Toppo's downfall, and at this moment, he definitely seemed that it might, regardless of him breaking out. But this fight was interrupted by some very powerful attacks being bounced off the contact from Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren. You could see the frustration in Jiren's eyes. It had previously been seen that maybe the attacks that had originally been throwing off his rhythm weren't so hard for him to counter anymore. But this look got me thinking that maybe he was still having some troubles. Jiren's next attack hit Frieza and Android 17, which turned out to be a wonderful opportunity for one of them. I wonder which one it could be. But more importantly, this started off the fight we really were looking for. Regardless of Jiren possibly struggling against the uncoordinated attacks that Goku and Vegeta were throwing at him, I didn't think he actually needed Toppo's help here. You agree, right? But with a cheesy nod from teammate to teammate, we got confirmation of 3 things. The first was that we were finally about to see Vegeta be pushed to his limit. Now without Goku by his side, there would be no other choice. Would we actually see the power of this new form that, so far, seemed like nothing more than just a flashy new look? The second was that Jiren wasn't mad at Toppo for his decision to become a god of destruction. Many people were wondering if Jiren would end up having to take out his own friend if Toppo took it too far. And this moment was the perfect way to tell us that there wasn't too much anger behind Jiren's first reaction to Toppo's decision. And the third thing this confirmed for us was that the spoilers definitely exaggerate. I mean, was this supposed to be Vegeta's non-stop, full-powered attack against Jiren? Instantly, Toppo was attacking Vegeta with everything he had. This is one thing I noticed in the last episode too with Android 17. One weakness that many characters have is waiting it out, going form by form, testing the opponent's power out before giving it their all. And a lot of times, this gets them into some trouble. It's fun to watch, but not really practical. Toppo had now proven that he was very aware of the short amount of time left, and he wasn't about to waste a single second of it. In fact, it seemed his powers had even increased significantly from last episode. Notice the speed of the energy of destruction he threw at Vegeta. Definitely a lot quicker than what we had seen before. And the amount of damage that he was able to do to Vegeta in just a couple of seconds was terrifyingly strong. What really proved his strength though was the fact that throughout all the attacks made during the short fight scene, we only saw Vegeta get this one little kick in. Everything else was Toppo. As he created the ginormous orange orb above him, I realized something that I truly hope they will be explaining in the next few episodes. This is something we've seen Toppo use a lot. Of course, it's been in different forms as this, but still, you could tell it was something similar. But here's the thing, we've also seen Jiren using something just like this as well. This makes me wonder if it's an attack that anyone can learn, considering no one else has been seen using this specifically orange attack besides these two people. It put a quick thought into my head. If Toppo is the candidate for God of Destruction, could this be an attack specific to that role? If so, then the popular theory that Jiren has had something to do with this role at some point in his past just might be true. I want to know what the Anafam thinks about this. But that's when something ridiculous happened. Vegeta pushed that orb away so fast, I was sitting there speechless. I couldn't calm my nerves. I knew this was it. We were finally discovering the true power of Vegeta Super Saiyan Royal Blue. As Toppo started countering Vegeta's new strength with his destruction, I was begging him not to hit Jiren. Okay. If the strongest guy we've ever seen in the show before got taken out because of that, I was about to be the maddest person ever. And then the flashback. I know I wasn't the only person who got chills, but this brought up a problem for me. The emotion that they were showing made it so obvious what's missing from Dragon Ball Super. His brief moment of saying the names of his family members and the student that he's gained wasn't nearly as powerful as him saying goodbye before giving away his life. This is something I think we all hope that they fix once they come back from their break. So yeah, it was a little disappointing to watch such a meaningful attack being created with an emotionless scream pushing out his power, but all that disappointment was quickly cast to the side. Toppo's massive energy of destruction engulfed Vegeta and his life energy, but Vegeta used his motivation to never give up on who he is, to never let go of the things that mean something to him, and he pushed it to its max. He actually destroyed destruction, and he had truly surpassed the power of a god of destruction, leaving that stage extra tore up. This unfortunately debunked the theory that Toppo's weakness had something to do with not being able to counter powerful psychic abilities. However, let me just point out that they were actually foreshadowing his weakness beforehand. Frieza originally used a pile of rocks in an attempt to defeat Toppo while he was paralyzed. Likewise, Android 17 used Toppo's destruction against him, trapping him under a huge crushed up rock. Although both of these attacks did barely any damage to Toppo, they were still showing us that it would be brute strength that would end up eliminating him. But his defeat also totally messed up the image of the power a god of destruction holds. They made Toppo such a beast. They even bumped up his power at the start of this fight. I mean, just last episode, Beerus stated that one of Toppo's weaknesses was having to charge up before being able to use the energy of destruction. Yet in this episode, he's creating them back to back like there's nothing to it. But now, we were all left feeling like they had super nerfed his powers. Honestly, it just seems like they rushed through this fight so hard. Yes, they gave Vegeta some shine, but they did it in such a way that it didn't feel meaningful like Ultra Instinct had with Goku. And they still haven't given us a name for his form yet. Calling it Super Saiyan Blue and beyond isn't going to please anybody. But let's look at the bright side. Vegeta's shirt just got ripped off. You know what that means. It's about to be over. Or maybe not. Jiren finally let his real personality start to show through as he kicked Goku right out of his power back into base form. He looked right at his two most trusted teammates and flat out said he expected more from them. Wow. such harsh words. But who else noticed we actually got a smile from the most emotionless character ever? We now have a 4-on-1 battle. Looking back on my expectations for Android 17 and Frieza to have already been eliminated, I completely understand now why it was so crucial for them to still be in this thing. Jiren is so unimaginably strong that, let's face it, there's no way he was gonna need his full maxed out power just for Goku and Vegeta. Sad, but true. With only 4 minutes left and 4 people to defeat, he's actually been forced into a corner and will use all of his hidden powers in order to ensure that he's the winner. Jiren looked down at Vegeta and said a few lines that revealed so much about him in just a simple phrase. He praised Vegeta for defeating Toppo without giving away anything that was important to him. We discussed earlier that Jiren didn't hate Toppo for his decision, but we do see that he was highly disappointed in him. This was the second time Jiren acknowledged Vegeta's true warrior pride. But when he actually smiled, he said, "Now feast your eyes on this." Okay, I think we all knew Jiren was cocky. Who wouldn't be with that kind of power? But seriously, with that line, my entire outlook on him changed. He's no longer a humble man with overconfident worthy power. You know what? I hope Universe 7 finds a way to win, just so they can put this guy in his place. But that still won't answer the question as to where is Frieza? Remember that opportunity I said Jiren's earlier attack provided?